To build wealth, not just look rich, you need to take a moment and rethink how you're spending. What you don't buy often matters more than what you do. I'm going to walk you through a few decisions that help me shift how I think about money so you can start making smarter choices that actually build lasting wealth.
When I first bought my house, it came with a really long driveway. And that long driveway, I noticed during the winter, needed to be plowed. Shortly after getting out of my driveway, there was a hill that I had to go over. And without four-wheel drive, if it snowed long enough and it froze, I couldn't get up that hill. So I decided to hire a snow plowing service. I thought to myself, they're gonna do a better job than I can on my own. I don't really wanna buy the equipment. I don't really wanna be doing it. It's wet, it's outside, it's cold. Let somebody else do this. Good riddance. Boy, was I wrong. First of all, when I first got my snow plowing service, I was a little bit surprised at the sticker shock of paying $100 to $200 per push for them to be able to plow my driveway. Not only was it expensive, but the quality was terrible. They would come usually at the end of their shift because unlike their important clients, those businesses that were paying them tens of thousands of dollars a year, I was usually being done at the end of the day or at night or sometimes the end of the next day. By the time they would come, it would be dark outside, the ground was already frozen, the snow was already packed in, and in many cases, they caused a lot of damage. Initially, my thoughts were this is going to save me a lot of time, save me a lot of money, but ultimately it was incredibly expensive, something that caused a lot of damage because the person was driving at night, they were usually tired, it was after they had done all their important jobs, and most importantly, they didn't know my yard the way that I did, and it was somebody different almost every single time. After a couple of years of doing this, trying different plow company services, thinking maybe I had hired the wrong company rather than this is a bad service, I came to the decision that, I want to look at doing this myself. I decided initially to buy a Apache snow plowing kit that would go onto my four-wheeler. A four-wheeler I already had that I had already paid for, and this Apache snow plowing kit cost me about $800 and then maybe another $250 to get it installed. So the first time I took it out, I fell in love with the idea of plowing my own snow. First of all, it was so much fun, not hard to do at all. When my kids were born, I started actually using this as an activity that we could do together where I would put them right in front of me and they would, kind of sit there and we would plow the snow together. So it became this community event that we were doing. We were also plowing other people's driveways, helping our neighbors dig out when there was huge snowfalls. And of course, their plowing services were nowhere to be seen. When I looked at the economics of all of this, it became so obvious after the fact that this is something I should have been doing all along. For example, in a good year, assuming, for example, we had little to no snowfall, I would probably pay somewhere around $500 for the snow plowing service. They would come out once or twice, maybe 3 or 4 times. In a bad year, if we had tons of snow, I remember one year I paid almost $3,500. For about $1,000, I was able to buy a snow plow that I was able to add to my ATV that I already owned. Within about a year, I broke even on that snowplow. And then after that, I've been able to use it essentially for free other than just the time that I'm spending. And like I told you, the time I'm spending is a joy. I really like being outside. I really like snow plowing. And it's something that I have started to do with my family. This is one of those situations where the assumption would be when you become wealthy and you can pay for a service, you should always outsource it. I'm here to tell you not to do that. In fact, I'm here to tell you that anytime you're making a decision like this, you should take the benefit of running numbers and deciding for yourself what makes the most sense. Like I told you in my previous video, for me, owning an airplane did not make financial sense, even though it's something that you see rich people doing all the time, buying lifestyle assets. For me also, when I told people I'd plow my own snow, they were like, why don't you pay somebody else to do that? Don't you have better things to do with your time? Ironically, no. This is a really good thing I should be doing with my time because it makes financial sense and I really enjoy it. Before you kind of judge things and say, well, everybody does it this way, I would ask you to run numbers for yourself and decide, is this something that you want to buy? Or is this something that you'd be better off renting, right? And in some cases, it's going to make financial sense for you to own that thing and do the job yourself, while in other cases, it's going to make sense for you to rent it and not own it to begin with. Which gets me to my final point, which is the difference between rich and wealthy. Any fool with high income can be rich. Think about somebody that just makes a lot of money and goes out there and leases a car, right? If they lose their job at any point, that car is gone. It will be repoed faster than they can blink. Wealth is actually the things you didn't buy or the things that you bought, but you were smart about it. And wealth allows you to do what you want, when you want, with who you want, for as long as you want. That is the ultimate freedom. That is what we're trying to pursue. If you're trying to make financial decisions in a better way, feel free to call us. We have a tool called Decision Center that is designed to help you make better financial decisions. Like, should you plow your own driveway and buy a plow for yourself, or should you let somebody else do it for you? Would you be better off buying that airplane or leasing it out? Should you buy that timeshare? Hint, no. Or should you use Airbnb or maybe rent that same timeshare for a fraction of the cost? I think you know the answers. If you're trying to figure these things out and you want someone to help you so that you have data when you're making these financial decisions, feel free to call any of one of our advisors. We would be happy to help and make this something that you make better decisions more often. If you like this video, please hit the notifications icon, hit the subscribe button. We post new videos every Wednesday. In my next video, we're gonna be talking about how I grew my investments to over $1 million before the age of 30 and how you can too.